Alrighty, this is going to be something absolutely insane. How I scaled dead YouTube channel to 100K a month in 67 days. So I'm about to show you guys something absolutely insane. This is a screenshot of my client Grant making $50,000 in just 5 days from his YouTube channel. And this is another screenshot showing his coaching program doing over 100K a month in February alone, with a lot of it coming from YouTube. Now, here's the crazy part. Just 4 months earlier, the same YouTube channel was completely dead. Grant had posted maybe 2 videos that did okay, but he was making absolutely zero money from YouTube. Zero. So, in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how he took his dead channel and scaled it to 100K a month in just 67 days. This isn't some fluffy, fake case study. I'm going to show you the exact strategy, the specific videos we posted, and most importantly, the framework behind why this worked, so we can replicate it for anyone. And, if you're an info product seller or you're a coach, pay close attention because this exact same strategy can work for your business too. But before we get into that, we need to go over why most info product YouTube channels stay dead, right? So let me paint the picture of where Grant was when he first came to me in September of 2025. He had this growth operating coaching program. He was already successful with ads, but his YouTube presence was literally non-existent. He's going to kill me for using this photo of him, but anyway, he had posted 2 videos. They did all right, maybe a few hundred views each, but they weren't making him any money. And here's the thing, actually, Grant's really good on camera. He knows his stuff, but the content strategy was just completely wrong. It wasn't converting. And when we started working together, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to lie and say, we just magically took off. Like, for the first few months, we actually weren't doing any better. Like, we were doing all right, but nothing crazy. We were making the same mistakes that 99% of info product YouTube channels make. First one, we were trying to be like everyone else. We looked at what other people in the growth operating space were doing and basically copied their format, which is a big mistake. You might say, oh, but you're supposed to copy from outliers. Yes, but you're supposed to copy like an artist, steal like an artist. But we'll get into that later. Second mistake, we were posting random video ideas that we thought would perform well, but there was no strategic flow between them. It was just like, oh, this topic might do well without thinking about the viewer journey. This is like basically just posting random video ideas we thought of in the shower and thought, hey, this might do well. But more on how we fixed that a bit later. We did this really, really well once we fixed it. And then the third mistake, we were using the wrong format entirely, right? We were doing these heavily edited full screen talking head videos that just weren't resonating with like his ideal client profile. That's on me. I wanted us to try it, but just didn't work, right? At least not for his niche. So yeah, by like December 2025, I thought we weren't going to get any better, to be honest. I was kind of at a loss. Our growth had completely plateaued. He wasn't posting consistently, and I could tell he was actually getting frustrated with the lack of results. Before we go into how everything changed, like, I'm honest, guys. Like, by December of 2025, we were kind of at a loss, right? I'm not going to sugarcoat it and be like, oh, we knew we were going to turn things around. Like, yeah, I did, but I'm not gonna sit here and lie and just be like, everything was perfect and immediately ripped. Like, sometimes you need to eat a bunch of shit before you can succeed. But anyway, January 2026 happened and everything changed. And we basically did a strategic reset. In January 2026, I basically said, fuck this, we need to completely reset our strategy, not restart the channel. We kept all the existing content, but we reset our approach entirely. I spent literally hours on end doing market research, analyzing what was working in the space, and I realized we had been approaching this completely wrong. Here's what I discovered. So, 1, my reward videos were absolutely crushing it in the business education space. While everyone else was doing talking head videos, the channels that were growing the fastest were using visual boards to explain concepts like I am in this video. Second, the most successful channels weren't posting random content, okay? They weren't just posting whatever video ideas they thought would do well, that they thought of in the shower. They were creating content that flowed together like a story, where each video naturally led to the next one. And more on this later, you can kind of see here. And 3, instead of trying to appeal to everyone, the channels making the most money were being extremely specific about who they were talking to and what problems they were solving, right? And then I developed something which I call the strategic content framework, right? And this is what changed everything. This framework has 3 principles. It's 1, and the most important, it's content as a funnel, right? Not random posts. Most people treat YouTube like a blog. They post whatever they think will get views, but you need to treat it as a sales funnel, right? Each video needs to serve a specific purpose in moving the viewer closer to becoming a client. You have your one top of funnel content that attracts new viewers. By top of funnel too as well, guys, I don't mean bullshit top of funnel like lifestyle vlogs of you renting a baby blue C8 Corvette. I mean top of funnel content that's actually value. So, something people are searching for. This is like broad how-tos, how to solve a specific problem. So how to get growth operating clients in 2026, how to start growth operating in 2026, etc., etc. Not bullshit top of funnel where you're posting a vlog and attracting a bunch of retards, right? So you have your top of funnel content, which attracts new viewers. Typically, I've seen across the board with our clients, these don't make the most money, but they get the most views, right? We need views. We need to cast a large, wide net. We need to get our ICP in, and then those viewers will eventually trickle down the rest of the funnel and they will convert, right? And then we have our middle funnel content. This is where we educate. This is where we build authority. This is where we actually go a little deeper. We give more value. And then we also, we explain to them why what they're doing at the moment is wrong and why Grant's way is better. This is how we start to, we kind of want to shift our viewers' thinking with these two as well. I'll get into like specific examples of that later, but this is what builds authority. And then we have bottom of funnel content that provides social proof and drives conversion. So like student interviews, case study breakdowns like I'm doing right now. But here's the key, right? You've probably heard all of this before. You've heard of top of funnel, you've heard of middle funnel, you've heard of bottom of funnel, but what you might not have heard of is that these videos need to flow together. When someone watches video 1, they should naturally want to watch video 2, then video 3, and so on. And as they're watching these, a light bulb should start to go off in their head, right? Let's say, I don't want to spoil it since I explain it later in the video, but let's say, someone watches your top of funnel video where you show them how to solve a specific problem. Let's take a random like niche example. Maybe, drop shipping. What's a top of funnel video in drop shipping? How to make high converting ads in 2026. Okay, you show them how to make high converting ads. Then in the middle of funnel, you make a video on here's why your dropshipping ads suck. Here's why your dropshipping ads aren't converting. Then, you educate them on why their current approach is wrong, why yours is better, and you just kind of explain that to them, right? And then the bottom of funnel would be a case study that's similar to the last two. So a student who you helped, a case study breakdown, a student who you helped scale up and his ads completely sucked. And then after that, you just post a student interview with that student. Now, the reason these flow together is because going back to the e-com example, first you showed him how to make good ads. Then you showed him what's wrong with his current approach. So you explained to me why his ads suck. Then you showed him that, your like way of doing ads, like it actually works. It works for someone else. It doesn't just work for you. And then, you showed, and then in the client interview, he basically sees someone who was in the exact same position that he is in right now, gets to the desired end result that he wants to get to, ding, 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 through working with you. So you showed him that, this approach works for someone just like him. And can you kind of see like how it flows together? If I'm like a kid who just wants to start e-com, go to Miami, get a baby blue C8 and a fake Miami penthouse, like I'm going to be watching this and I'll be like, damn, this guy really understands me. Like he has this awesome ads. But anyway, more on that later. Second thing, strategic market research. Look, before we post any video, I'm doing deep research, right? Looking at what's working in the market, but more importantly, looking for gaps, okay? If you can find a gap in the space and you can penetrate it, you're going to win. Topics that, people are searching, but no one is covering well. And I'll explain more on how we penetrated a few gaps, penetrate in a bit. But yeah, I'm also analyzing our ideal client's journey, right? What questions do they have? Okay, this is kind of going to spoil the rest of the video, but when I was doing market research, I realized like if I'm starting growth operating, I probably don't know how to do a launch for a client. And I searched up on YouTube and there's maybe like 2 videos on how to actually do a launch for a client, and they're not even that in detail, right? Another one. So that's a gap. That's a gap, right? That's a gap that you can, and this also comes from understanding like your ideal client a lot. Like when I got on with Grant, I literally watched all of the videos in his coaching program. I watched all of the student interviews, and the reason why I did that is I really wanted to understand like his ICP and their thought process, because that's how I'm able to figure out like what these gaps actually are. That's how I was able to see that, hey, no one is making videos on how to like do a fucking launch properly. We need to do this, right? Second thing too as well, what objections do they need to overcome, right? This is a very, very, very important, because, and this is spoiling the next part of the video, but it's all right. Our ICP, a lot of them have this objection that growth operating is hard. Like they're sold on the business model. They think it's amazing. They know they can make money. They know they can make a lot more money than, you know, their fucking job or being a closer or whatever they're doing right now. But they think they need to learn all these skills on the side. I'm going to take my Zen out. I'm going to pop another one. That one was a bit too strong. They think they need to learn all of these skills on the side before they start growth operating. But that's not true. It really isn't true. And we'll get into that later. But that's an objection that needs to be overcome. We can make a video on that, right? Another example would be, you know, if you're selling an organic drop shipping offer, whatchamacallit, a lot of your ICP, they might not even know what organic drop shipping is. They might still think you can only do paid ads for drop shipping. That's the only one that works. You could maybe make a video. I mean, it's kind of rinse right now, but it's like how to start drop shipping with no money. You know, but that's just an example. And then what proof do they need to see? Yeah, right? They need to see proof too as well. So yeah, I've been yapping a bit. Let's continue. All right, the third thing, the format, right? We don't choose a format because it's trendy. We choose it because it serves the content best. For Grant's audience, Miro boards work because they can visualize complex business concepts, you know? Talking head doesn't really work, like edited talking head. Like, yeah, sure, you could do a couple cool edits, but me personally, and at least from what I've seen, because we did do like the edited talking head before, it wasn't really visualizing what needs to be visualized the best, right? Now, this is not to say that edited talking head doesn't work. You know, it does work. The Miro boards don't work for every other niche. Like, for example, if you're selling a multi-family home estate, multi-family real estate offer to, you know, an audience that are like 45 years old, they're probably like a Miro board like this probably isn't going to work for them, right? This is more like so for the info space, for the jits, for kids like me. They'd probably need like an edited video with like graphs and graphics. So it really depends on who you're selling to and what works in the market. So yeah, we need to look at that. And, you know, we looked at that too as well. And we saw that Miro boards were performing well for like Grant's competitors. So yeah, I don't know why my dog won't shut up. Like, as you guys can see, I'm not editing this. I'm not like doing any bullshit. Like, I'm as real as it gets. Don't doubt the kid. But anyway, yeah, for someone else, it might be different. The key is, you know, testing what resonates with your specific audience and doubling down on what works, right? Which is what we did. Everything I'm saying here, we did, right? It's backed by data. We tested where is it? We tested it did well now, this video, it was edited talking head, it did well now, because this is also a side note, but like, if your posting and your videos don't do well immediately, who gives a fuck? They will eventually do well over time as your channel starts picking up. It's like, what's it called? A rising stream lifts all boats. But yeah, like we tested this, it got like 300 views initially. Like the edited talking head just wasn't working, right? And then, you know, we tested the Miro boards and then it just fucking ripped. And then we doubled down on that. So the execution, how did we actually apply this framework, right? Because I'm telling you all of this, I'm telling you the strategic flow and everything, but what does it actually look like in practice? So armed with this framework, we planned our restart. And I want to walk you through the specific videos we posted because you need to see how this actually works in practice. So the first thing, the foundation, the first video we did when we started this restart was titled How I Made 800K Plus Growth Operating, and I'm doing it again. This was our restart video. It explained Grant's business model and showed the results he'd achieved. Really good top of funnel too as well, just explaining the business model and how much you've made with it. I think this is a really, really good video to do right now, and as you can see, it ripped. Now, it wasn't a random flex video, right? It wasn't to just show, oh, I've made 800K, you guys suck, right? It was strategically designed to be top of funnel content that would attract people interested in the growth operating model. It answered the question, you know, what is this business model and does it actually work? The video absolutely took off. It became our best performing video on the channel and it proved that our new strategy was working. Okay, now, next thing, the natural progression. Now, here's where the strategic flow comes in. After someone watches video 1 and understands the business model, their next question is obviously going to be, yeah, this is pretty fucking dope. I want to do it. How do I get clients? Okay. So our second video was an outreach guide. It didn't perform well. It didn't perform as well as the first video, but it did so much better than our previous average. And more importantly, it serves its purpose in the funnel, right? And then third thing, we kind of did deviate a bit. We did a bit of an experiment. So it was comparing the two business models of high ticket sales and growth operating. Yeah, it was actually an experiment. We made a comparison. Now, this didn't fit sequentially in our story, but it was intentional. We didn't just pull this idea out of our ass. Grant gets a lot of ad leads who are currently doing high ticket sales, and we wanted to make a video we could send them to nurture them towards growth operating, right? It only got about 600 views. It's about more right now. I think it's closer to 800 at the time of me making this video. But, you know, the people that watched this, they were extremely high quality viewers from our exact ideal client profile, right? The lesson here is, I know I said don't pull video ideas out of your ass and don't just do what you think would work well, but don't be afraid to make content that won't get massive views if it serves a specific purpose in your business, right? Like, I didn't just think of this idea in the shower. Like, I was watching Growing Sales Calls. I was saying, a lot of these guys have a high ticket sales background. We should probably make a video showing them why their current business model sucks and why there's a better way, right? This serves a specific purpose in the business. But then, anyway, we followed, so the progression from video 2, the outreach one, the breakthrough. This is the video I'm most proud of. And the reason why is because I spent like 4 hours scripting this. And I'm going to show you how deep the strategic thinking goes. So this video was about how AI makes growth operating easier. Now, I didn't just randomly decide to make an AI video. This is my actual thought process. So after videos 1, 2, and 3, our viewers understood the business model and how to get clients, but I realized, sorry, not they probably had a new objection. This seems too complicated for a beginner. Right? This is the part that I didn't want to spoil earlier, but anyway, so I needed to break that belief. I researched what was working in the market, and I actually found a competitor who had done a video about making growth operating easier. It was titled "Growth Operating is Hard Until You Do This," or "Growth Operating is Easy If You Do This." Something, I think it was the first one. But they didn't mention anything about AI. They were just showing like, hey, it's not that hard. You just need to do this. Get a creator, 50% school community. He wasn't giving value. It was a bunch of bullshit, right? But the video did well, so that meant the concept was good. And then, I also noticed that AI angles were performing really well across different niches, like just showing how to do things with AI and how AI can make stuff easier. So I combined these insights and created a story-driven video where Goran showed how to build an entire growth operating business using just a laptop and AI. It wasn't just a step-by-step tutorial either. It wasn't just like, okay, you have ChatGPT, you're going to do this with ChatGPT, you're going to yada, yada, yada. It was a story that took the viewer on a journey, right? And I'm going to explain that actually because it's a really good fucking script. So instead of just saying, hey, take ChatGPT, take Claude, do that, we kind of we framed it in the way as, okay, we've just started growth operating. We have whatchamacallit, no idea how to do anything, but we have a laptop and we have AI. So this is what we're going to do step by step with AI. As this, this kid who has no idea what to do, right? Imagine you're starting today with nothing but a laptop and AI. Here's exactly how you make money with growth operating. And then we were just like, and it wasn't just, we were walking them through a story, right? We were making this video I would say go watch the video. It's a really, really good video. But we were presuming that, we were this kid, and then as we move along, like we get our first client with AI, then we need to launch for this client, then this is what we do, then our funnel isn't working, then this is what we need to do. It's just a really cool concept. And the lesson here, and really why I think this works, is like you just got to put time and effort into it. Like most agencies will just see one outlier video, they'll copy it, and then they'll set and forget, and they'll keep doing that, and then that's why they don't get results, right? I am like, I don't know if this is just because I've been in the game for a while, but I knew this video was going to do well. As soon as I got the idea and as I continued scripting it, I could literally feel it in my bones, just because of like I knew how much like time and energy we were putting into this, just because of how strategic we were with it, just because of how much research I did, right? What's that one quote? It's like, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Well, guess what? We fucking planned and we didn't fail. So yeah, the video got 4,000 views. It's still growing. And more importantly, it addressed the objection our viewers had at that stage of their journey, which is that growth operating is too hard. So we completely obliterated that objection. Now, video 5, filling market gaps. Like I said, if you guys can find a gap and you can penetrate it, you're going to absolutely rip. So our next video was about building a growth operating launch in 43 minutes using AI. Again, this wasn't random. I researched and I found that launching is, this is from like just researching the ICP, but launching is super, super important for growth operating. But that's how the main way you make money with a client when you first get them. But no one's making good content about it on YouTube. No one. There's no guides on it, right? So we filled that gap while also flowing naturally from our AI video. The framing was perfect. We'd just shown them how to use AI for growth operating in general. Now we were showing them how to use AI for a specific high value part of the process. So not only did we fill that gap of actually making a good launch video, now it's going to capture that search traffic forever, we also showed them how easy it is with AI, right? And we broke like the objection and the belief that they had. And then video 6, our current winner, our recent video is don't start AI agencies, start AI growth operating instead. It's currently 1 out of 10 on YouTube Studio and it's absolutely ripping. Again, I got this concept from analyzing what was performing well in, not necessarily the AI agency space, actually I forgot to change that, but just a couple outliers. But I put our own spin on it by positioning growth operating as a better alternative. And again, the reason for this too as well, boys, is that I'm not just making this video because I saw that it did well. AI agency is a really big business model. Like people are searching up on YouTube how to make money with AI, but AI agency might not be the best business model to start. Like you're selling $500 chatbots to people you absolutely hate working with, whereas with growth operating, you make a lot of money with people you actually enjoy working with, right? You can see the thought, you can see the intention behind it. But yeah, the results. So what did this strategy actually achieve? As you can see here, launch video, absolutely fucking ripping. As you can see here, us making a shit ton of money from YouTube. As you can see here, Grant buying a Rolex from YouTube. No, I'm kidding. He bought this before, but he could buy like 3 more just based off of the money we made off YouTube and still have some change. So the results, yeah, he made 50K in just 5 days solely from YouTube. As you guys saw above, I'm not going to scroll up and go find it. His coaching program did over 100K in February, with YouTube playing a major role in every single sale, okay? A lot of it was directly attributed to YouTube, but even the stuff that wasn't, like his ad leads, he used YouTube in every single sale. All of them watched a YouTube video before booking a call. So, you know, this is another lesson too as well, but if you guys are running ads, like you need to be posting on YouTube, not only 1, to have videos to send to ad leads to nurture them, but 2, someone might not like watch your ad immediately and book a call, but what they might do is they might search you up on Google and your YouTube channel pops up, and if you don't have any videos or you don't even have a channel, guess what? They're just gonna go to someone else, right? But yeah, it's not just about the money too. The channel growth was insane. We went from our videos getting literally a few hundred views, a few fucking hundred views, to consistently hitting 1K views. Like it's our fucking standard right now, especially in something as, and you know, you might say, like, if you're watching this, yeah, 1,000 views isn't that impressive. These 1,000 views aren't like just fucking bullshit Indians. These are our ICP. They're qualified. If you look at the comments, we're getting actual good questions asked, right? And, you know, these are 1,000 views of people who can buy, who actually, you know, can buy from us and afford our program. They're not, whatchamacallit, like a bunch of retards, right? And you guys know this. You'd much rather have 1,000 views of people that can buy than 100,000 views of like just retards. But yeah, and then more importantly, like I said, the quality of leads improved dramatically. Instead of random people who weren't qualified, we were attracting serious business, well, not business owners, but like, you know, serious people who are actually ready to invest in high-ticket coaching. And here's something most people don't think about. Grant now uses these YouTube videos in every sales conversation. So like I said, when someone books a call, he can send them specific videos that address their exact situation and objections. And if they do not book a call, you know, they'll search him up and they will watch his videos. So if you want to replicate these results for your own info product or coaching business, here are the key principles you can understand. Personally, I'd recommend just working with me because, you know, I'll actually just, you know, do all of this for you. But for some reason, if you want to do it yourself, here's how you can do it. I'm kidding. But anyway, think funnel, not random content. Every video should serve a specific purpose in moving viewers towards becoming clients, like I explained above. Map out your ideal client's journey and create content that addresses every stage. This is very, very important. If you have no idea what video ideas to make, map out literally everything. You take a prospect through when it's onboarding, when you help them set up their store. I'm going back to like the drop shipping example. You help them run their ads, yada, yada, yada. And then, you know, search for similar topics on YouTube, see how it's framed, see how it's positioned, and then make it better, make it unique to you. There you go. Boom. Strategic flows everything. Your video should tell a story together. When someone finishes video 1, they should naturally want to watch video 2. And as they keep watching it, a light bulb should go in their head, realizing, you know, that this is strategic and that you're actually going through a journey, right? Going back to the dropshipping example, you show them how to solve their problem, you explain to them why their problem sucks, you've shown them exactly how you can solve this problem, the case study breakdown, and you show that you've solved it for someone just like them in the client interview. Anyway, yeah, this keeps them in your ecosystem longer, builds stronger relationships. Research before you can create. Yeah, this is going to be you when you're researching. Don't guess what content to make. Research what's working in your market. Identify gaps you can fill and understand what questions your ideal client are asking. Format as well. Choose a content format based on what's based on what serves your audience best, not what's trendy. For us, my rewards work because they help visualize complex business concepts. Quality over quantity. It's better to make one strategically planned video than 5 random ones. Every video should be intentional and serve your business goals, right? And then test and iterate. Not every video will be a home run. And guess what? That's all right. The key is learning from what works, learning from what doesn't work, and doubling down on those insights. And then Another one, use content as a sales asset. If you're running ads, like you need to be posting on YouTube, it's going to amplify your paid. You're going to get so fucking rich. So fucking rich that, you know, you can actually buy a white Lamborghini instead of a baby blue C8. So yeah, your videos shouldn't just build awareness. They should actively help you close deals, create content you can send to prospects to address specific objections and situations. Now, the real secret, it's about the process, right? Here's what most people miss when they try to replicate successful YouTube strategies. It's not just about copying the ideas, right? It's about understanding the process behind those ideas. If you copy something and you have no idea why it works, it's not gonna work, right? When I work with Grant, I'm not just making random videos. I'm not just seeing a fucking outlier from another channel and being like, yo, let's rip this. No, I'm constantly researching. I'm analyzing performance both on that video and on ours. I'm understanding the audience. And I'm strategically planning it to actually fit with us, not just setting and forgetting. You know, this is true. I spend hours researching competitors, identifying market gaps, mapping out our viewer journey, and crafting scripts that serve specific purposes in the funnel. This is what separates channels that randomly go viral once from channels that consistently grow and actually make money. So if you're watching this and thinking, I want these kinds of results for my business, I want to work with someone who's, you know, as cool and as handsome and, you know, has as much aura as Raf, here's what you need to do. Actually, sorry, that part comes a bit later, but here's what you need to do. Audit your content strategy. Are your videos random? Are they strategic? Do they flow together or do they exist in isolation? Second, map out your ideal client's journey, like I explained above. Third, research your market, what's working, what gaps exist, what format resonates best with my audience. Fourth, plan your content funnel, create a strategic flow of videos that guide viewers from discovery to conversion. And then you can get results like this. And, you know, going back to what I said earlier now, if you want help implementing this strategy for your business, I do work with a select number of high-ticket info product sellers and coaches to build YouTube systems that generate consistent revenue. As you can see here, I did this video for my boy Cardinal Mason, absolutely ripped. 50K in 5 days for Grant. One of my new clients, Kyan, that I brought on, he made 6.5K from the first YouTube video we did. Another one of our clients, 9K in 2 weeks from YouTube. Alex Sedlak went on an absolutely generational run. This is absolutely insane, by the way. Mason again too as well. So, you know, if you do want to work with me, the link is in the description if you want to learn more. But, you know, whether you work with me or not, or implement this yourself, the key is it's just being strategic about every piece of content you create, right? Don't just set and forget. Don't just do what you think would do well. Do what you know would do well by doing research, and you know that'll actually make your channel make money and not just get views and, you know, attack a bunch of retards or get no views at all, right? So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video, and yeah, if you want to work with me, the link is in the description. Take care, boys.